So welcome everybody to the Daily Intimacy and welcome to the new Daily Intimacy in 2021. I had committed to doing this through the end of the year. It all started when the pandemic began in March. And then I committed to doing this. I committed to myself that I would do it through the end of 2020 and then see how I felt. And I molded over for a couple of weeks in December, just kind of thinking about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to spend my time. And this is honestly, this is one of my favorite things that I do during the week. And I love it. I love the guests I've been bringing and most like extraordinary people and all of you offering your gifts and coming, many of you every week. And it's just a lovely way to gather. And I thought, you know what, this is, we still need this. I still need this. And let's continue. So we'll see. Got some good guests lined up for January. And also, as I'm talking about that, if any of you feel like you have something you want to offer and share, like anything you love to do, any practices that you have found helpful, maybe you have a life story that's really inspiring and you'd love a new audience, please reach out because this is for you and with you and about all of us. So let me know if there's anything that you would like to share, anything from movement to sky's the limit. So thank you. For today, it is, I didn't have a guest because I wanted to do it myself. About once a month, I've been doing, just us and a community gathering. But I do have something I want to share today specifically, which maybe you read in the newsletter, maybe not. So we'll move on to that in a minute or two. All right. So just wanted to point out in the chat that Jan has posted a link. She's doing sound healing every week and has a lot of guest musicians. And there's a link there if you want more information on that. The next one is this Saturday, I believe at 4 p.m. So, all right, we are going to continue with a centering. So I just want to invite you to have a breath now and gently close your eyes wherever you are. And just give yourself a pause if you're walking while listening, maybe pause for a second to breathe. If you're driving, of course, don't close your eyes. So nice deep breath if you haven't already. Close your eyes if you haven't already. And just feel yourself in your space, wherever you are right now. If you're lying down, feel what you're lying on, the couch or the bed, reach up and support you. Same thing if you're sitting, feel the earth and the chair or cushion beneath you, rising up to support you. Breathing deeply all the way down to the root chakra, bring the breath up to the heart. And now see if you can tune in to what's called the luminous body. That's the energy field that's around you. You can imagine it all lit up and vibrating. It's just your space. So if you can put your arms out to the sides and sort of feel the edges of your luminous body, like feel the container by reaching your arms left and right. Yeah, just feel, and then all the way up overhead, and just feel where it is. Feel the definition behind you, to the sides, up overhead. And tune into that luminous body. What's in that space right now? What's there this morning? I invite you to exhale and just sort of shake off what doesn't need to be there. Maybe something from a dream or something you've been processing or something you're holding on to or something that called your attention this morning that wasn't uplifting. If you by chance heard the news or scanned something like energy that you don't need from outside you, you can just shake it off. Just let that go, and you can, yeah, just send it back to the earth. Send it back. Send it down. And then breathing in love, breathing in connection to the divine, whatever your word is for that which is greater, so much greater than us. And once again, see the luminous field around you lit up, vibrating with light, good energy, support, and then add things that you would like in that space around you. Just name whatever shows up for you right now. And have a nice deep breath in. Exhale and gently open your eyes. Come on back. I want to welcome those of you that have just arrived. And I want to invite you to turn your video on. If you're here for the first time, you may not, I know some of you are here for the first time, so welcome, first of all. And second of all, you haven't heard me say my spiel, like, turn your video on because it's so lovely to see you, and any which way that you are is welcome. So sometimes people come in their pajamas or they're walking or wherever and however. And it's lovely to have videos on for connection, and it helps the room feel safe. So thank you. I know some of you need to be on 2 devices in order to do that. So thank you for doing that as well. All right. So I want to start with asking you to put in the chat or consider sharing what you would put in the luminous field that's around you. Again, like about arm's length all around. We've got this energy body, and it, believe it or not, it's like, we think of ourselves as just our physical body, like, is my physical body healthy and all of that, but it's really so much more than that. And the nourishment we get from our energy body is potent and powerful, and we can define it, and we can feel it, and we can access it when we're conscious that it exists. So just curious, what you would like to fill that space with that would be supportive of you as you move into, I mean, it's sort of arbitrary, right? It's a new year, and some people are like, it's just a new day. Like, what's the big deal? It's got new numbers, at the end of the date. But it marks the time, and it's a moment to pause, maybe even more deeply than we have been ushered to do in 2020 and invited to do in 2020. It's a new moment to pause and consider, like, this is the time. What do you want? What do you want to let go of? And what would you like to experience as our lives are filled with just one experience after the next? So we've got Laura, ease, flow, abundance, and joy. Yes. Love, for sure. Unconditional love, protection, abundance, and luck. I like that. Luck. I like that. Thank you. Puppy and a kitten and the moon and a branch of a tree, ideally a beloved. Yeah, beautiful. Let go of. Great, Vlad. Fear, guilt, shame, pain. Raise your hand if you want to let go of fear, guilt, shame, and pain. I think, Vlad, you've got everybody with you. Everybody. Welcome in abundance, freedom, playfulness, and peace. Oh, yeah. Playfulness, lovely. Freedom. It's a word I've been mulling over these days. Focus, stability, and flow. Nice. Love. Me too. Yes. Spread more love around. Replace fear with faith. That's nice. It's nice to have a replacement. Sensuality. Nice. Nice. So just take a moment and breathe all those in. And there's more coming, which is awesome. Ease, flow, let go of stress, response. Yeah. Yep. And health. Yes. Bringing that in. Ease, peace, joy, and love. Create more personal connections. Nice. That's the challenge in this time period, isn't it? Yeah. Beautiful. Warmth, especially in winter. Yes. That would be great. I agree. So awesome. Yeah. It's really important to define, to every morning actually define the luminous body. For those of you that practice yoga, when we do the sun salutation, I'm next to my window so my arm can't go up, but we're going around, right? And we come down forward, we're at the edges of our luminous body, the whole part of the, right, Richard's got it, the whole sun salutation. And that practice, just even a round or two in the morning, just really helps define that space for you. And then consciously you fill it with the things that you want to experience in life, or in the day, or in that moment, or in that next hour. So it is, it's an invitation to think about that, to become even more conscious of your life and of your day. And we're going to talk about Kali in a minute, but just reflecting on this year, and if anybody wants to add anything, please put me in the chat. I don't want to just be talking the whole time. But it's so incredible to think about what happened and what's happening still, yes. But to think about the invitation to really to pause and become more conscious, because that's where, we were just running like 100 miles an hour or faster in our lives, more or less, in our culture. And it's really, let me tell my dog to be quiet. You can hear him, sorry about that. We were just moving too fast. It's like we can't bring God in, we can't bring the divine in unless we are conscious and aware and in the spaciousness and the pause and the stillness. And so there's just this, as I see it, this really intense invitation to pause. And then with the new year, doing kind of the same thing. A lot of people will, sort of take stock and think about, I'm not a big resolution fan, but I am a big intention fan. And definitely know the power of where our thoughts go and what we bring into our energetic space that will bring those experiences to us. So anybody want to add anything about 2020 and their perspective, just sort of related to what I said? And I'm going to mute and tell my dog, yes, Denise, I was thinking you were going to share. Go ahead and unmute.
One realization I had as we went into the new year was that for kind of the first time in my adult life, I went into the new year without any strong desire to set a resolution. You talked about being a resolution person. I always have something. I always have like, I'm going to get in better shape, eat better. I'm going to learn Spanish. I'm going to, be better friends with this person. I always have some project. And I did, nothing came to mind. I really didn't even think about it. And I was kind of wondering if anyone in this group had noticed a shift in themselves where they used to do something on New Year's or have some sort of thought pattern about how I'm going to better myself, and they didn't experience that this year, or maybe the vice versa. And I started to think maybe 2020 taught me that, kind of the flow of life and how you're always kind of moving and shifting in and out of things. It doesn't need to be a big project. And maybe at the end of the day, you're just okay. You're good. You're good now, and if you want to change something, go ahead and try and do it and experience that. But there's really nothing wrong with you. You get up every morning and you do your thing, and thank God for that, because you're part of the mosaic. and there is no better, there's just experience. So I'm sorry, and I actually would love to hear people's, did anyone have an experience where they used to do one thing and this year the energy out of that forcing yourself into it was just gone, was just kind of resolved. So
Great question. And thank you. And yeah, that was a real question. So does anybody have a response or something that popped up while Denise was sharing and asking Maya? That'd be great.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Yeah. Good morning. I think I had a somewhat similar experience, though maybe less conscious than you. I just did New Year's very, very differently this year. There was really no feeling of pressure inside me to create some kind of new level of resolution. But there's an ongoing daily practice I have of aspiring to a higher level of myself, or a more aware, more skillful, more loving. And at the same time, I've been learning to let go of my judgments of myself more quickly and with more grace, and to be more aware that things come and go, hard moments come, they go, good moments come, they go. But I was just more in the celebration of New Year's as a time of connecting to friends and a time of doing a little ritual with my family. And I don't mind resolutions. I think they can serve a really great role, but I felt much more just kind of, I think similar to you, that I'm in a way every day setting resolutions, and in a way every day also realizing I'm enough, and didn't have a special extra apex on New Year's Eve. I was thrilled to be on a Zoom call and make up poetry out loud with other people, and then dance and do sparklers on my porch. So I was more in the moment, just enjoying it. I don't think I fully answered you, but I really appreciate it, what you said, and your reminder that we are really good enough, and that there's this up and down to the days we live. Thank you for sharing. And I also am happy with people who do make resolutions and want to support them too, because that's a powerful tool. I went on too long, but it's okay. Thank you, everybody.
You absolutely did not go on for too long.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, spontaneous poems, that piqued my interest.
Oh, I could share more with you about that sometime. It was really, really fun and thrilling. It had special technique to allowing that to happen.
Beautiful. I'd love to hear more about that. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else want to share? Thanks, Maya. I'm glad you made it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm still on duty with my mom, so I may come in and out.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. So if you want to say anything, please put me in the chat.
Can I say something? Is it a good time? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, B, hi.
Hi. I don't usually make resolutions because whatever. Because I'm still gonna speed. I'm still gonna be late for work. Like, I know myself. But I loved what you wrote, in the email, because last year I was saying, this is 2020. It's the year of clarity, of vision, and then I was like, just heart fallen because it's like the most confusing year for the entire planet. And then you came through with there is still clarity, of what is really important. So that was beautiful.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to share that I had a letting go ritual on New Year's Eve that was part of Dance New England's thing, and I never break things. And so I think this was planetary letting go. It's like for the whole planet, because I broke a vase that I use almost all the time for 30 years. And then I broke a crystal I'm like, what?
Wow.
So that was creating the letting go part of my altar.
Wow. Did you break them intentionally as part of the ritual? Is that what you're saying?
No,
they just-
I just like, I always do things carefully. I don't break things. I'm like, what was going on? So whatever needed to break, it did.
Yes, perfect lead in to Kali. So yeah, whatever needed to shatter, whatever needed to crack open the crystal, right?
Complete letting go. Yep.
Yeah. It's interesting, the vase, because the vase has like a specific definition. It's holding something in a way specific, and that released because everything's so unknown and in the mystery right now. Like, what size container do I need? I mean, it keeps changing. It's like I wake up and get the message, I need this size container, but by lunchtime, it's something else. That's been my experience. It's like, don't make plans, don't hold on to anything, don't think something specific, because it's just going to change anyway, like in 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's been.
Yeah.
So I love that I was going to say metaphor, but it's not even a metaphor, sort of. Those things breaking. That's beautiful. Wow, this is the perfect lead into Kali, who I sort of last night or whatever day I was writing the newsletter yesterday, I guess it was like I write every week, but I wait for inspiration about what I want to share, and I guess Kali just showed up for me in an image, and I was like, okay, we're going to talk about Kali today. So for those of you, let's see, talking about Hindu goddesses is often a new topic for some people. So, so welcome to those of you that have no idea who Kali is, and welcome to those of you who've been working with Kali for many years, like full range. Some of you have open to working with Kali because you've done some things with me. And so Kali is a Hindu goddess, and she is the goddess of destruction. She's some people are like, oh, Kali, she's like the goddess of destruction and death, and like that. People don't, some people are that about her. But she is actually so incredibly powerful and so incredibly supportive of our being loving beings on the planet. And I want to share my screen for a moment. Thank you for the comments in the chat. I want to share my screen. Hold on. Oh yeah, good. We're right to the page. So these are some images of Kali. As I said, she's a Hindu goddess. She's often with her tongue sticking out because she's supposed to be fierce, and the tongue sticking out is just a representation of fierceness. There's a lot of ways that she shows up. Oh, look at that one. Oh, that's somebody dressed as Kali. That's great. Really nice. Here's a good one here. She's the goddess of fear and fear. Sorry, she's the goddess of destruction and death, which is just a transformation. Let me stop the screen share. And the reason why we might use an archetype, a goddess, and an image is that it's an archetype, and we're looking at qualities that we can either use as a guide to guide us on a path, or qualities we want to embody, and it's just a representation. So it works. It's for some people it doesn't really work. It's like there was somebody who participated in my self-love program over the summer. We used a lot of goddesses and archetypes in our study and practice, and it just didn't resonate for one of the women. She was like, I just don't really get it. It doesn't work for me. So if that's you, that's fine. But what I wanted to do is talk about her for a minute. Yes, it is for fire breath, Laura, but it's also because whoever they is, wanted her to look fierce in the images. So what was I saying? Sorry, I got distracted by the chat. I want to talk about her for a minute, and I want to give you an opportunity to reflect on her, and probably we'll do some really brief breakout rooms. So Kali, her mantra is cut that which does not serve. I'm going to put that in the chat so you can see it. She is about like a full-bodied, empowered energy of inviting us to be in alignment with ourselves, inviting us to cut the edges, get rid of whatever, cut the cords, and release things that don't serve us, and step into the light and into alignment, so that we can have a series of experiences through our lives that are feeding us and that are uplifting us and that are bringing us to the next evolution of our soul, whatever that is, different for everybody. So I wanted to give you an opportunity first to reflect, if we're just using the New Year's Eve marker as our guide, to look at 2020 and things, your own personal experience inside, right? This is all an inner journey. These things are happening outside of us, but they're not really separate from us. It's actually all happening on the inside. So the opportunity to reflect on things that are in your life experience and inside that you're ready to let go of. That if Kali came in, that she would just, when Kali finds it like that, we have to spend, years and, thousands of dollars and all of that trying to like find these things. But Kali's just like, she's just in there and out like that. Because, the divine is all about like the fastest point, actually, the fastest path from point A to point B. We like meander around, but if we were getting direct instructions from the universe, God, divine, whatever, however you want to say, it would be like, yes, this is how you get from point A to point B. And this is the direct path. And this is the fastest path, because that's all about our evolution. And that's what is wanted of us, is to continue evolving. But we as humans tend to go like a million different directions and, spend all that money and all that time and maybe eventually get to point B and maybe not in this lifetime. So I love the invitation of Kali because it really supports us on that really clear and straight path. So with that, I'm going to invite you to reflect on that. And I'm going to invite you to do it with some other people, because this is community, and this is about community. So we're just going to go briefly into breakout rooms to give you an opportunity to talk about that. And if you don't want to go into the breakout room, just stay in the main room, and I'll do my best to move you around. But I invite you to go for 3 minutes and share. So if you're in a room and you notice you're in there by yourself, probably you'll get moved because I'll be moving you. So just hang out for a moment and I'll move you around. So I just set that up really quickly. So I'd like to give you like 3 minutes each to reflect on Kali and cut that which does not serve in your life. I'll keep the time for you. And everybody's back. Yeah? Yes. Just about. Great. Would love to hear a couple of little snippets before we move on to the next piece. Who would like to share? Just put me in the chat if you feel called to share. It can be a sentence, a word, a paragraph. If you haven't shared before, it's a great opportunity. Just put me in the chat and then you can unmute. Just would love to hear your reflection on Kali. Thank you, Susan, and what you're cutting away. Go for it, Susan.
Hi, everybody. So I shared with my group that after the holidays, I went through my home and got rid of a lot of things. Like I made a major clean out and brought stuff to the Goodwill. And one thing that I thought I would never part with, I have this really big print up on the wall upstairs. And it's a pretty print. And it was something I had given to my former husband as a gift. And when he moved, I was really disappointed that he didn't take it with him. And then, like, this is a long time ago now. So I'm looking around and I'm thinking, why am I keeping this? Why have I kept this all these years? It doesn't actually bring me joy. It makes me feel a little sad. So off the wall that came, and I brought all this stuff to the Goodwill and feel somewhat free. So I think that was reminded me of Kali. So it was like, all right, release the past, go for it. So
yes.
That's what I shared with my group.
That's great. That's so important, Susan. I'm in a shamanic training right now, and we were talking about, cutting cords and releasing, and there was talk about the objects that are in our space that are holding so much energy, and I didn't even realize. Yeah, exactly. And I was talking about my ex-husband, who I have a good relationship with, but who, I'm obviously, cut cords with. Yeah. And we raised kids together and all that good stuff. But then I realized, I've got these objects still around the house. So I didn't even realize, and they're holding that energy. So yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, well, the print resembled my daughter and me. Like someone else pointed that out. And I think, no need to go into the past, but I thought, why am I hanging on to this? It's not necessary.
Right. It's back there. Exactly. Yeah. Good for you. Awesome. Let's hear from Leslie Ann.
Hi, everyone. So what came for me is finding the middle ground between cutting things out and also accepting things as they are, because I feel there's always dissatisfaction in life, right? And at least that's my experience. Nothing is ever perfect. So it's hard. I find it hard to know when to cut something out and when to just practice surrender and acceptance and just be with what is. So that was my shared.
Nice. A great question, actually. Right? Poignant question. Thank you. Anybody else? Let's actually continue on. Yeah. So with Kali, Kali is all about, it's the burning of the ashes. It's destruction, but it's destruction for the purpose of realigning. And I sort of reflect on these moments in my life where I've had a course correction, is what I call it. Either I'm way off and somebody pulls me back in, or something happens that, the vase breaks and the crystal shatters, and, I've got to be here and not over there. And that's the beauty of the energy of Kali. And if you're ready to do this kind of powerful work that you're doing right now, all you need to do is invite the energy of Kali in and have the prayer in your heart to cut that which doesn't serve. And you don't have to know, like this invitation I just gave you was to reflect and pull out some things that are in your current awareness that you can articulate, but you also don't have to know. And it's not even necessary. You can simply call the energy of Kali in, have an image or, a little statue or whatever you want, or just call her in, and then have the prayer in your heart to release what's not serving you and what's got you off your aligned path. And that's it. That's the prayer. Like that's the prayer. That's the blessing. And that's all really that needs to happen. You know, you could have a fire ritual, you could, you know, do a shamanic journey, or you can just wake up in the morning, take a shower, and close your eyes and let the water run over you and just think about Kali and say the mantra and go about your day and see what happens. But when you do that simple ritual or elaborate ritual, then the task is to notice and pay attention to what happens. Because when you start to cut those things that don't serve you and invite them to be released, then you're going to notice these synchronicities, which are an indication that you are on the path, right? When the synchronicities happen, it's like the universe is very clearly saying like, yes, yes, and yes, and yes. And then, you know, you have the guidance or the information. So I would like to invite you to now flip the question to what experiences, it's not like what experiences do you want to have in your life, but it's like what experiences will be in alignment for you. Maybe that's sort of a more of a challenging question, or maybe it's a little confusing, but it's like, what are the experiences that are aligned on your path that you are aware of, and obviously many that you're not, that will bring you back into alignment from a stronger place once Kali has come in and done her thing. So before I send you back very briefly to breakout rooms, I'm just going to take a look at Matthew's question. Is Kali both the goddess of death and the source of support for people? Seems contradictory. Kindly explain. Yeah, exactly. Because once we shed, we use Kali to cut that which doesn't serve. That automatically puts us more in touch with what does serve. And then we have access to that source and that energy, information, whatever it is, guidance. And she's not really like, if we got really technical about it, she is supporting because of the work she's doing in bringing awareness to what's not serving and what's not in alignment and helping you release it. That's the way she supports. So thank you for asking that question. So yeah, so let's flip it around and give you an opportunity to go back into the breakout rooms and have another discussion on the flip side. And, you know, we've got only a few minutes left, so this will be brief. It looks like maybe you're going to go back. Yeah, some of you will be with the same people. So see you in a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Who would like to share? I'd like to leave 2 minutes for sharing anything with the group. Just put me in the chat and unmute, or also feel free to share in the chat. But I'd love to hear what a few highlights from your conversation as everybody's arriving back. Anybody have anything they want to affirm, say out loud to be heard, anything they're aware of in terms of their own path of alignment and experiences. Ah, great, Denise.
Really briefly, we talked about kind of the strength of daily ritual and how that kind of helps you stay in the flow. And we briefly talked about how when you're in the flow of things, kind of life and everything backs you up and keeps hand down your back, and you have the power of not just your willpower, but kind of something else. And then what, you know, noticing when you get pulled off track and trying to understand what that is and how you can handle that.
Great. Sounds really, yeah, that's great. Meaningful. Thank you. Great. Let's hear from Mayim, and welcome, Mayim.
Hey, thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Glad I got the nudge to tune in at the start of the year. It's just wonderful to be here. And we too talked about daily rituals and like we have the tools, do our yoga, meditation and all that. And I started to go back to my a pattern I had that I would often beat myself up for, like, oh, I should have done it by now. And, you know, my morning routine takes so long. And why didn't I do my exercises already? And towards the end of the year, and what I want to carry forward is not beating myself up about that. You know, if it takes me till 11 to get all my yoga done and my meditation and my journaling, that's what it takes. And I can give that to myself. And I have the time. We have the time now, like we didn't before. And sometimes you do got to get up and be on a 9 o'clock meeting or whatever. But, you know, I can be easier on myself and don't beat myself up. Don't beat yourselves up, please, my friends, for what we don't do, and give ourselves the time.
More self-love. Thank you, Mayim. And let's see. Yeah, 30 seconds, Veronique. Love to hear your voice. Thank you, Mayim.
All right. Yeah, to piggyback on that, I've just been, I mean, obviously I have a lot of disruption throughout my day, no matter what I'm doing. But I've really been thinking, like, instead of having one big ritual or like one morning routine, to try to just splice it into my day. And that like alleviates some of the pressure, you know, and also functions really well, I think, to kind of have us regroup. I feel like the chaos used to be in our home, and like the steadiness was out in the world. That was reliable. We could count on, like, you know, the office opens at 9 a.m. or whatever. And now the steadiness we have to create, and the chaos is outside, or like we finally see that. And so just finding ways to create our little spaces of peace that we can like take with us feels really important. And then you can just kind of flow, because I think the year has so much chaos in store that, like, no matter what, it's going to change again, or there's like another part to it, and it will kind of feel that way all year. So yeah.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Says the astrologer's little prediction for us, huh? Thank you so much. I love when you're here. I love that your kids are here. I love the kid sounds. It's great.
It's so nice to be back. I'm glad that you're doing this. I know I like dipped out and got busy, but it's like very inspirational and just such a nice time to connect with everybody and see people's faces. So I really appreciate it too.
Thank you. Thanks, Veronique. Wonderful. Okay, we're just at time. Thank you, everybody, for joining the first of 2021 Daily Intimacy. So beautiful to be with all of you, really. Next week, we have Tara Nieves Green back. She is an extraordinary breath worker and healer, and just a beautiful being. Some of you were probably with her and I many months ago now, actually. So it'll be really nice to have her back. It was really special the first time around. So, and just one more piece. If you know someone you think would be like lovely to invite into this community, first of all, to participate, please invite them. Just send them the link and have them, you know, participate and join. And or if you know somebody that you think would offer something to the group, and that you think, you know, I would love in particular, and that likely you would as well, the group would as well, just send an introductory email you know, I'm starting to obviously fill the weeks. And so I'd love to have your input and have your expertise. As I said in the beginning, if you have something you want to offer, just send me an email. Okay, everybody, so much love as we embark on this new journey of 2021, the year of good health. Lovely to be with all of you, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Same link, you don't have to register again. You can just put this right into your calendar, and I'll see you next week. Lots of love. Bye, everybody. Have a blessed day.